Hello and welcome to another episode of Trees, Trash and Tinkering. Today I will be picking up trash along the so-called Goulburn River near Seymour. This episode will be the first one of many to heavily feature my tinny, which is my major tinkering project. It has a 30cc 7 horsepower diesel engine, which I eventually hope to be running on vegetable oil. The hull was a 4.2 meter project that I bought off Facebook Marketplace with a trailer for $1,000. It had been stripped back and welded up, but the seller didn't want to go ahead with powering it, so I found it to be perfect for my plans to pick up trash and carry around friends. The motor was $500 and the Longtail kit imported from Thailand was $400, and there was about $1,000 of other miscellaneous stuff spent on it. I earned the money from working in Costco tyres. I feel it. I somewhat compromised my morals doing that. Part of me doing this channel is to survive without compromising my morals. Before we get into the trash collecting in earnest, I want to show you some tinkering which I did before this trip. You can see this trawling motor is running on the solar and it's performing excellently, being able to pull me back even though I was somewhat up on the bank. I bought it on Facebook Marketplace and it actually doesn't have any technical information about it, but it's only got 2 blades, so I suspect it is one of the lesser powerful ones. And this is it directly connected to the solar panel. It's throttling up and throttling down. That's with no battery. So I just wanted to see how much power the solar panel makes directly, and here's the readings of the connections, and it's doing the throttly thing. The solar panel is 160 watts rated. Now I'm doing it with the battery, and you can pause this information if you want to see the battery, but it's just an old one that I got for free, and it's charging up pretty nice. I'm not sure if that's overcharge. Tell me in the comments. Now I'm testing it at full power, and it's shaking the leaves, and it goes for about 30 seconds, and then it starts throttling back again when the solar panel is picking up the slack. Here's how it's mounted to the boat. Here is a wedged piece of metal and wooden blocks to support it, all sealed with metal paint and lacquer respectively. There's some scrap braces, and it's designed to come off with 2 bolts at the front in case I want to use it on something other than the tinny. It's mounted a little bit back to allow access to the anchor, and that's about it. Back to the river. To release the engine, I've just got basic setup. A lot of the tinny is work in progress. The solar panel mount is actually one of the few final things, and that's why it's all sealed. You can see on top of the engine, that little wooden handle, that's just temporary. But it's actually in a state where it's where I could go up this actually at parts pretty dang challenging river, especially somewhat underpowered, well, definitely underpowered. This tinny is definitely would be easier with more than 7 horsepower. I've got a 6.5 inch propeller on at the moment. I've also got a 6-inch propeller as a spare. I'm tempted to try a bigger propeller. We'll see how we go. The diesel engine might have more torque. 6.5 is what's recommended. Well, 6 and 6.5 is what's recommended for 7 horsepower. And I'm just cruising up, looking for signs of trash. There was less than I expected. There's been floods on this land in recent times, and so I was expecting lots of trash. Along the river there's mainly farmland, and at the moment I'm still pretty close to the town, but you can see that cows and hoofed animals have degraded the riverbanks, and also the land has unfortunately been cleared right up to the banks. Even just a few more trees would make a lot of difference. I came across this fishing spot, and there's just bait things and Rockstar cans. It was pretty beautiful. I felt pretty dang lucky to be there. I was drawn to a rusty IBC that will come into shot in a minute, but I couldn't get an IBC. Like, the tinny is big, but not that big, and I'd have to turn around straight away. Oh, vape packaging. The vapes are hard to quit. Interesting in Australia, still very unregulated. And they're smoking cessation devices, but in themselves they're definitely hard to quit. Here I find an absolutely beautiful, vibrant blue feather. Can't take that for granted. I didn't take it. And now I'm climbing this tree to get some rope down. Wasn't sure if it was worth it, but I think it would have ring barked it if it had stayed. Just a bit of a climb. I wasn't too far away from the town if something had happened. I took my boots off, way easier with no boots, and you can see everything up there. There weren't any bull ants. I think there was some little ants. But yeah, I wish I had better shoes for the river. my other options are like skate shoes that are like falling apart. So the boots with with the laces loose is the option. And as you know from the previous videos, I kind of love climbing the trees to get the trash down. To show you my battery setup, and I've got 3 batteries. It's actually different to when I was testing earlier. I got the middle battery, which is a 100 kilowatt hours deep cycle battery that I got off Facebook Marketplace just the day before I went. And I got it for $60, which I'm pretty happy about. Came out of someone else's 4-wheel drive setup, and I'm just putting the solar panel on it, and it's actually at 20.4 volts, which I'm pretty sure is too much. So I nip over and put the engine on. The battery on the left is a spare. I know it's extra weight, but I'm still learning and such, so just gotta have an extra spare. And the battery on the right is a reconditioned starting battery, which I got from a shop called Battery Stop in Campbellfield. Shout out, they're freaking awesome. I'm just chucking it on full blast reverse too, because I've got more voltage than I need. It goes back down to 19. And I'm getting the order push off as well. It later in the voyage, either the battery's internal voltage regulator or the solar panel's voltage regulator adjusts, and it's no longer being overcharged, so that's good. And it didn't get hot while it was at 20 volts. Yeah, I'd only just put the solar panel on it. The solar panel at first was topping up the starting battery. Earlier in the voyage, I'd forgotten to turn on the fuel, so the starting battery got a bit of a cranking to get the fuel back into the engine. It's just running on diesel at the moment, no veggie oil yet. Stay tuned. Yeah, so this is, you can see kind of the speed I'm getting at full blast with the little trawling motor, and it's pretty good. This is the first time I captured one of the hectic parts of a river. I was going full blast and only just moving. And now I'm approaching the next spot. I do a bit of a cleanup. I see this IBC in the tree. So I'm coming in. And the river was actually pretty fast here. This was actually quite a hard bit. But also I feel like I could have doxed a bit slower and more relaxedly. Like I didn't secure the engine and could have dropped down and had a hard time with the propeller. I've got this old climb line, and it's a whole line. It's got the little red tape on it, and now it's next level down, which is just old rope. But it's really good for the knots, like, it's nice and thick, easy. I do a slip knot, but it was a bit overkill. I was normally doing bowlines to attach to moor up. I'm at the spot now, and I really want to take the IBC. It really feels like it shouldn't be there, and it seemed kind of possible for me to get it down, but I was further away from the town, and I thought it might be a bit dangerous. And all these pieces of laminated MDF I wanted to take as well, but they were too big too, and too heavy. So I sent it to the EPA. Like, I don't know if they'll get around to it. Hopefully they will. And this area, I climb up the bank a bit, and I'm not sure where it goes from Riverland to a farm, but I try to not go on the farms, and be respectful. I guess I'm picking up rubbish, so, and I'm wearing a big fluoro vest, so they don't think I'm creeping around. And yeah, there's a ratchet strap and a pallet in the tree up here, and some wire, but I'm still just kind of exploring this area at this stage. And up here there's a bunch of I'm not sure if they'd been moved from the flood or if they'd been put back here. I was very careful of this one. I was ready to jump back like a dark flat object on a hot day. Like, I am being careful of snakes, and I don't have an EPIRB yet, so I can't wait to have an EPIRB. I'll feel so much safer when I'm on missions by myself. And I just chuck it down the bank. It's actually quite a big bank, so I was kind of dreading climbing down with it. And there wasn't that much trash up here, and it felt a bit private, so I decided to not stuff around up here anymore and just go down. And I was gonna leave, but then I realized that just a bit further upstream, a lot of trash had been collected in the foliage from the floods, so I'll do a bit of a quick time lapse showing me pick that up. That was actually quite a heavy workload here. I was sweating, and it was pretty hot. Yeah, but it's so beautiful, and the trash shouldn't be there. Like, I was thinking when I was doing this bit, it's not dissimilar to like Half-Life radiation. Like, the plastic will take forever to break down, and like I've read that bacteria are learning to break it down, but like that's gonna be years in the making too. And like, imagine a bunch of like new bacteria released into this area. Like, I don't want it to have to happen. Like it would end up like it might end up like a cane toad, or another introduced disaster if they were to release bacteria to try and decompose the trash. this netting out and throw it down into my pile, and a little brown mouse like jumps out, and I tried to slow down the video and zoom in, but you can't see it, so I'm just playing it at regular speed. But it made me think that like I am disrupting some animals, and I disrupted a bunch of ducks earlier, unfortunately. But overall, hopefully I'm doing a net positive for the little critters. And after that big effort, I pull up here just literally to relax. Technically lunch, but didn't bring lunch ingredients. And a little lizard came out, and I thought it was a snake, so that's why there isn't like good footage. It's zoomed in, but oh, it was cute. They were just hanging out with me. They were like, "You're a water human. I guess you're not gonna come near me." And then, lucky I had a break, because further up the river it got intense. Oh, like, I didn't capture footage of the really hard one, but this, like, at points you're just creeping up. You're barely moving. It was fun, but it was my first time, and I didn't really expect that it would be, like, sometimes a battle to get up the river. The most intense time, like, I get turned around and the first time, and then I get stuck on a log the second time, and then the third time I finally get up. I wish I'd gotten footage of that. I'd become a little bit more wise at this stage. There was also another really nice time when I had to floor it because I could see there was a log, and the tinny was light enough to just slip over the slightly submerged log, and I just lifted up and the propeller just slid over it. Later on I'll show you the propeller, and it's got a nice fin on the bottom that protects it. And yeah, like, I feel a bit bad about how loud it is when I'm just sitting here thrashing it. But also, like, this is another reason why I want to get it running on veggie oil. Like, it is an effort for the little engine, and the veggie oil is a waste product that can be recycled to be used for travelling. Here I'm adjusting the milk crate, and at times I was thinking of replacing it with different lengths of wood, and other times I've also thought about there's a bit of extra transom that I could take out and have it mounted a little bit lower, but actually, the geometry of the milk crate size and the transom height is actually really good. Like, I can wedge it to hold the propeller under because the cavitation lifts it. Actually, I'm not sure if that's the right term. But yeah, the propeller lifts up and it's an effort to hold it under to get the full power in the water. And that's where cavitation is. Like, when it's not held under, it cavitates and gets a bunch of air flicking around in the water. And here is the propeller. It was actually getting more beaten up than I expected, so I was showing. And you can see the fin there too. And I'm at this lovely mooring spot, like, nice log I can climb on. And yeah, I don't know why I was wearing socks at that stage. But yeah, here I am at it again, crawling through the undergrowth. I wish I had better shoes. The boots, a steel cap, and at this stage, I was, like, when I was climbing up and down, it was ramming my toes into the cap, but they didn't come out damaged, so that was all good. Yeah, this place was actually kind of frickin' scary. People were doing target practice up on their property, and I felt like really only on the river area. There wasn't any like farming or fishing stuff around. It was just literally foliage that had collected flood rubbish, and some interesting bottles and such. Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, this whole area is just like muddy. Like, there wasn't like that much trash. Like, it was caught in certain areas, and I feel like I got like maybe 50% of the trash in this area. And yeah, it was this weird little almost billabong, and water out of the boots, making them a little bit more comfy. approaching a tyre I plan to take. I don't like taking tyres because they cost approximately $30 to each to get rid of at a tip. I might be able to give it to my old tyre shop pals, but yeah, I always budget for the highest disposal cost in just in case. This one's white. I'm pretty sure it's probably been spray painted as someone's driveway gutter protector. The other option is maybe the carbon black got degraded, like maybe from the sun. Like it's, I think it's most likely just paint, but yeah. Also, the other thing with tires is you've got to be careful that little pieces of metal don't frickin' splinter you. They're painful. Oh, it sucks. But I just grabbed it carefully, and the whole time I was picking up trash, I was like, I'm gonna get the gloves out of the side of my bag and put it in my pocket, but I forgot the whole time. Anyway, I'll drag it back to the boat, and the boat's definitely getting full. Like, worth using the big boat. Well, worth that I got the bigger boat. Like, if I was in even like a 3.8, I reckon I'd struggle to take the amount of trash that I've taken. The other thing that was in that clip was there was just a note that just said, camping on this land is temporarily suspended due to weather. So, there's a note, but there isn't someone's whole camping setup, so I guess the note worked. Yeah, I got a fair way up the river, and it's getting beautiful. That's why I switched on the camera here. You can see the trash is starting to pile up at the front, and there's some cows. They were all looking at me. They freaked out a bit when I had the engine on earlier, and yeah, oh, cute cows. And the terrain's getting more mountainous further up. And there's some beautiful rocks over here. Yeah, I'm going over this side to not disturb the... Oh, actually, this is where I turned around. This is the end. Yeah, these rocks were beautiful. Most of the river was long and straight bits, and then there was rocky bits which were harder. I'm trying to get my speed record. I got up to 7.2 knots, which is about like 16 kilometers per hour, like downstream, which was my record. I'll pop up a map of how far I got to. Like, I was underwater for 9 hours. So I was turned around to make it back to the ramp in good time, and I decided to get some of the smaller trash which I might have missed when I was going faster, and ones that didn't require me to moor up. So this is one, just this old bag out of the tree, and using the boat hook. I don't have trash collecting tongs yet, but yeah, soon. And I also saw a barrel. Just as I said, I'm getting the trash that didn't require me to moor. Yeah, I thought this big light barrel could sit on top, and it was pretty trashy. So, and it was actually quite a hard spot to moor with like a big steep bank. It looks like the barrel might have even been shot, and I I left the propeller on just level 1, so I'm going back now to turn it off. And I'm glad I could still climb in from the bow, even with the solar panel there. I made sure I could stand on the side clampy areas to climb on. So then I went back to the barrel, and I was trying to cut it open with the mini bolt cutters, but they didn't have long enough jaws, so I switched to the Stanley knife, and I find that if you do 3 lines, it'll pretty much cut through the thick plastic pretty easy. And then I'm just trimming off a little square in the middle. This is all to drain the barrel. Not even telling you why. So I'm just putting it down and draining it properly, because it was actually pretty heavy. Yeah. This riverbank was a bit different, like lighter, higher up, sandier. And now I'm back down in the reeds, and I fall in knee deep. That was a little bit annoying, but you know, it's all in fun. And I'm tying it with a bowline on a bite. There wasn't much current in this spot, so I didn't have to be ultra careful. I didn't get much more footage. The camera lens was dirty, and I was and the batteries were low, so I'm just heading back to the ramp. It was so lovely. I spent a lot of time just drifting with the electric motor. Here I am trying to get another speed record. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed, and yeah, stay tuned for the next episode. Bonus footage! I also made a new garden bed, just chucked a eggplant and capsicum in there. I was inspired because I got some stakes that weren't any good, so I thought great fertilizer. It also can become a mound garden bed if I just pull that ring off, and if I wanted to add the mound to the rest of it. And this is my new grey watering system. The washing machine had to go outside because it was leaking, and there was a sensor in the bottom that would trigger and prevent flooding. So we drilled holes in the bottom, and hopefully the washing machine will last a lot longer outside in this setup. There's the holes. I'm pretty happy to have a grey water system. Anyway, thanks so much for watching again!